Oi, oi, you beautiful people. It's all about getting real with the Cockney Buddha. Hope everybody's having a great week, great day, great month, great year, great. This one's a little bit about politics, kind of. I can see how much suffering it's causing. And I've been asked a few times, in fact, just literally an hour ago, where I sit with things. So I'm going to let you know. And you might not get an answer. But I'm going to tell you where I stand on things, yeah? It's things that cause a lot of controversy in the world. And, you know, it is what it is. It's always going to be there. But what do we do? What do we do to stay out of the suffering? So please tune in. I'm here in sunny Florida. And the temperature's going up. Oi, oi. It was up in the 80s today. So, like I said, I just got asked this question literally within the hour. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to podcast it and I'm going to put it up. And because, you know, it is one of those things that people are all tied up into right now. And it's a tough one. It ain't an easy subject. It's not an easy subject at all. And I actually cannot vote. Because I am legal before anybody comes knocking on the door. Jeez. But I'm legal and I can't vote because I still am a British citizen, even though I'm looking into it at the minute. Because we got told, I don't know how true this actually is, and I think this is wrong myself. But we were told that if you're not anything of a citizen, you do not get your Social Security money, even though you pay into it. And to me, it's like, don't like that much. But, you know, looking at as anybody that knows me well, they know what I follow. I don't follow any particular religion. I follow everything that speaks to me. And when I look at politics, it's basically, you know, like war of the two sides. And on the path that I follow, it's about loving humankind. Just like John Lennon, right? Imagine all the people living life in peace, yeah? You may think I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one. I'm a believer in that. I think it's sad that we have the situations that we got going on. And like I said to one of my guys that came on in front of me, because, you know, I work with my guys with this as well. And I told them, I don't pick any sides. The old person that I used to be may have done, but the trouble is, you know, I followed what my dad followed, and that wasn't the right thing either. It was just like, well, Dad knows, and I just followed that. Not having my own mind, really, in what was going on, and just follow. And it's good not to be a follower, but at the same time, it's also good to look, have an understanding, and maybe not just follow because that's what everybody's following, or because there's always going to be shit that you don't like. It don't matter who you follow. There's going to be shit you don't like. But what I choose to do in my own personal journey is not pick. I told one of my guys recently, I listen, I hear. Sometimes I don't even know who the person is that's saying it. I mean, pretty much, probably 99% of the time, I don't know who the heck is saying it. And I either say, yeah, I like what they're saying, or no, I don't like what they're saying. I can't help but look now, and there is things where I'm going, oh, I don't know if I like that, and I'm not digging that. And of course, I think if you're not a person with opinions and everybody follows, shit, we'll all be robots. In fact, yeah, watch out, that's coming, right? You might not even get the choice at some point, right? But Martin Luther King Jr., and I'm going to read this because I've got it up I've actually brought it up on the computer. And it's, as long as there is poverty in the world, I can never be totally rich. As long as people are afflicted with debilitating diseases, I can never be totally healthy. I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. Martin Luther King Jr. Think about that. As long as there is poverty in the world, I can never be totally rich. As long as people are afflicted with debilitating diseases, I can never be totally healthy. I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. We're a human race. Human beings. I believe in loving a human being. It's what I follow. It's part of the journey. Non-judgmental, seeing the other side. And in Buddhism, it's all about giving of service. It's all about helping whoever. If there was something that happened in the street where somebody got hurt, I'm not looking at politics, race, heritage, nothing. I'm going to help whoever it is. I'm not going to stand on the side and go, I can't help that person because X, Y, Z. Won't happen. It won't happen. I'm going to help no matter what. And anybody that can stand there and hate on another human being, like I say, yes, politics is one of those where it's making you pick sides. It's making you decide on an opposition and not liking them. There's a lot of it going on. And all the while we're like it, we got some serious divide. And guess what? When it comes to politics, if you look at the amount of politicians and then you look at the amount of people that these politicians are supposed to be helping, there's a lot more of us than there is them. So how have they got so much damn power? How? And to tell you the truth, it don't matter who I've looked at on both sides of the fence, all across, politics. There's corruption like you wouldn't believe. Just the corruption with payouts to politicians from the pharmaceutical industry. It's insanity. But I tell you what, it don't matter what side of the fence, they'll gladly reach out their hand and take money. And then say that they're campaigning for you. It's just like what happened down in Florida when the cannabis, looking for the recreational cannabis came up. And by the way, there is registrations going around. It's look in your mailboxes if you're around in Florida, because they're coming into your mailbox to get up a petition again to get this recreational out there. It's coming up again, I believe, next year. I might have that wrong, but I think it's next year. And I don't like the fact that I pay in shit tons of tax. And that tax money, again, no matter who it is, it happened to be, if you're in Central Florida area, you'll know who I'm talking about. But it happened to be taken up by a politician, and the fight against getting it illegal, which it didn't pass, should have done, but it didn't, was used with taxpayers' money. So how is that fair when I'm standing on this side wanting this to go through because it's an absolute amazing medicine, and yet my money's been taken? I might as well gone up and gave it to the campaign against, because that's where it went. I'm not happy about that. Again, it's one of those things to where you You hear about these things and what's being spent, and your taxpaying money that goes in, it won't go into areas that you want it to go into. It's going to get taken and it's going to use, and yeah, some of it will, of course, but how is that okay? How is that okay for a politician to take my taxpayers' money and say, you know what, I'm going to put it into the campaign and it's against what I actually believe in? I was like, what? You kidding me? So I stay neutral. I keep myself neutral. I listen. I don't really talk in the realms of politics. I do with my guys, but I'm able to do that because I'm able to just see people. Everybody has the right to believe what they believe, as long as you're not going out and wishing ill on somebody because of what they believe. Because that's when we got the divide and we got a problem. Okay, it might not be beneficial. You get given a position that you don't want there, but there is absolutely nothing I can do about it. And something I can't control, why would I let it control me? Something you cannot control, why would you let it control you? In fact, what you do is when you're angry and you're mad about something, I work with one of my guys on this one. Turn that anger into petitions, like what came through my door. People are angry. People ain't happy with the fact that it didn't go through. They're unhappy. And, my wife and my two daughters, they filled that thing out and got that sent in for a big old thumbs up. Go ahead. Put it in. We want it. Seeing and believing in it. And not having these politicians come in and take bloody taxpayers' money and use it for their advantage. You're meant to be putting that into other thing. If you'd have said to me, hey, listen, can you give, because I spent a good bit of tax, and if they would have said, hey, we're going to divide your tax up, what would you like to put it in? And I would have gone, let's, give it to some people that are very less fortunate than I am. The homeless and the sick and the people that can't afford certain things and need money to get by, and then, cleaning of the streets and keeping them clean, and, maybe putting into some research projects for health stuff. And yeah, great. Now I know my money's getting spent on something that I'm actually giving it to. I'd rather go up to the people and go, yeah, listen, this is how much tax I've got to pay. I want to give you this and I want to give you that, and then register it and say, okay, this is what I've given my taxpayers' money to. Because giving it up blindly, they're just throwing it in whatever concerns them, whatever they want. I don't like that. I never will like that. But that's politics. But there's nothing I can do about it, except you can turn that anger around. Now, unfortunately, like I said, I can't. There's no point in me writing to anybody or anything, because they could turn around and say, well, you're a voting citizen. And I go, well, we don't listen to you. And you feel like a freaking scumbag. You really do. I remember when I first came to the US, I was just talking to one of my guys tonight about this, I didn't even want to open my mouth, because all of a sudden I realised, oh shit, yeah, I'm a foreigner. I'm a foreigner here, and it's so crazy because you're like, oh, we're close countries, won't be anything wrong there, we're all good. And I had this absolute, all of a sudden, fear of like, oh, I realise that I'm kind of out of place here. And then culture shock and everything like that. And the politics ain't helping that, right? Let's look at this. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. So I don't choose. I look at human beings, like I said. I believe it's a thing to where it's causing so many different divides, even among friends and family, and it's bloody politicians, man. Politicians. How many politicians do we have? Huh? How many politicians do we have? And how many of us? If we're that pissed off, why aren't we joining together and just standing up and saying, this is what we want? This is what a majority... There's always going to be people unhappy. You're never going to have 100% across the board, everybody happy with what's going on. But it doesn't seem like people don't even bloody compromise, right, when it comes to politics. Well, the politicians don't. It's just like, and it's like, come on. There's two sides to the world. There's two sides. And it's like, you know, if it's all going one way and one-sided, it ain't going to work, man. You're going to have a majority pissed off with you. And if you go all towards the other side, again, ain't going to work. You're going to have a lot of people pissed off. You've got a huge divide. The percentages are off. There is no balance. You've got to have that balance. And you've got to speak to both sides. It's just like when you're coming up with compromise, you might be in a relationship and, you know, you're like, okay, we have a situation here and you're willing to give up a little bit and the other person's willing to give up a little bit and they may not like it and you may not like it, but you're willing, there's also those parts that okay, I'm happy with that, yes, I'm happy with that. But there's not going to be a full-on happiness on both sides. There's compromise. And they're seeing the other person for that. But if it's always going on one side and that side is way stronger, we got a problem. Because now the other one ain't getting heard, and there's a lot of people not getting heard. So there's piss off. You go straight away, you're stirring a pot of anger. And, you know, if you're going on and going, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do, like, fuck you, then we got a problem. Hello. You got a problem. Because the one that's going fuck you is making out, and the person that's getting that shit thrown at them are sitting there going in anger now. Rightly so. Not believing they're getting heard or loved or cared about or even that they're worth anything. Hang on a minute. There's a bunch here that we're not happy. What are you going to do about that? And if you get them and not like, yes, we understand, let's talk, let's get round a table and talk and see if we can come up with a compromise. Because like I said, you're not going to have 100% one way. It doesn't work. Even in relationships, like I said, even relationships, if it's all 100% one way, somebody's upset. Somebody ain't doing right or doing well. And what happens when you ain't seeing them other people? You're not even worried about the emotional state that they may be in, what they're saying. You're just blindsiding one side, and it's just like not happening. It's not gonna happen. And then you add in all the damn corruption that's going on, guys. Seriously, if we're not like really looking, there's more and more people coming out about bloody, you know, the corruption that with the amount of money being. I'm not. It's, you know, I'm going to pick on it. But when we're talking about the pharmaceutical side and the amount of money that's getting ploughed into politics, and then there's, you know, backhanders going on as far as what they're getting out of it. And, you know, we're like cattle. We're like bloody cattle. Think, please. Can we all please just see human beings? Like I said, I would hate there to be a situation that's really bad, like an accident or something, and there's people standing there and saying, I'm not going to go and help because they are whatever, X, Y, whatever. That's sad. That's really, really sad. And it makes me lose faith in humankind. Because if we can't step up and just help someone out of a spot without putting all these bullshit in the way, I mean, You know, when it comes down to it, look at racism, right? God, blimey, it's a human bloody being, man. You're hurting another person because of their heritage, who they are, what they look like. Why can't we just learn? I've learned so much by not being narrow-minded and ignorant. And then, of course, yeah, there's some things I'm probably ignorant with, you know, the not knowing. And that doesn't come down to me being nasty. It comes down to me not understanding or not being taught or something. I don't know. I mean, I love everybody. Absolutely love everybody. Someone walks up to me, I don't care who they are, I'm going to open my arms. Give me a hug. Loving somebody. I don't understand why we're hating other people. You know, and watch your politics, because politics will have you thinking that way and hating other people. For what? We all know that there's nasty people out there. We all know that there's people that do crime and bad crimes. I'm not talking about, you know, some of the, so to speak, petty crimes, right? I'm not talking about that we all can get in trouble with, but when I talk about people really doing some nasty, nasty shit, that goes across the board. You name it, it's there. Don't matter what your bloody heritage or whatever is or where you come from, it's there. Don't matter where you go. Don't matter where you go. So come on, guys. Think. Thank you for listening, guys. I really do appreciate it. And happy Valentine's Day, by the way. Oi, oi. Hope everybody has a good one. And I tell you what, you got to love yourself first before you can love another. Understanding what that is, and then you can give. Maybe I'll do a podcast on that. Sounds quite a good subject, actually. Maybe around love, yeah? Like I said, I'm in sunny Florida. I love what I do, getting this message out. Can't believe where I'm at. Honestly, I really cannot. And if ever you want some one-on-one, please hit me up, yeah? It's, you can check out my, anywhere. I'm on all social media. Look up Cockney Buddha, you'll find me. And it's all about getting real with Cockney Buddha. And go and hit that like and subscribe for me, please. If you're liking what you're hearing, please go out there and hit that like and subscribe. Because it helps me get out to the many, yeah? I don't want it stopping at the few, please. So again, happy, I nearly said happy Mother's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope everybody has a good one. Stay that course, guys. Namaste.